So, Dad, what do you think we ought to do with that aluminum canoe that's back at the house? Has that canoe been around for a long time?
It was made...
Well, just a second now. I'm going to stop again here.
Don't go off the road. This is soft gravel.
I saw that. So, Dad, that aluminum canoe we've got up at your house, what should we be doing with that? Has it been around for a long time? Is it an old canoe?
Peter Campbell was looking at it the other day, and he said, you know, last time I saw it, I thought you should put it in the canoe museum in Peterborough. And he said, I was down there, and he said, I was telling him about your canoe, and they said, yeah, they'd be very interested in it, for you to give them all the information on it that you can, and they would bring it up to the board and see if they would like to have it. So he said, if you want to go further than that, you can. However, that canoe is one of the first aluminum canoes made, because this young chap in Chicoutimi started making canoes, and he couldn't make aluminum canoes until after the war because there was no aluminum sheet available. And after the war, the only sheet that was readily available was a very soft 3S sheet that we used in the plant, and so he could get some of that. But
and what plant was this, Dad?
This was the Arvida plant.
Or Alcan?
Alcan's Arvida plant in northern Quebec.
Right.
And so, but in order to make a canoe out of it, where you had round curves and angles, he had to cut the pieces out of the sheet and then weld them back together.
Now,
and of course, at that time, nobody could weld aluminum except Alcan.
Why wouldn't he just like form them over a mold, or hammer them over a mold, or roll them over a mold?
Well, that would be stretch forming, and this alloy wouldn't do a stretch form without. It was too soft. It wouldn't.
I thought soft aluminum was the kind of thing that you could form.
No. So this is what he did. He went to the head welder in Alcan plant and said, I want to hire you on your spare time to teach my men how to weld aluminum. And that's how he started the plant. Now this had to be around 1944-45, just after the war. So that canoe is one of that vintage.
Now, does it have a manufacturer's name on it?
No.
Do you remember the fellow's name?
I believe Chicoutimi Canoe Company.
Right.
And the chap that was running it was Mr. Boulanger. The canoe was modified because my friend Alec Tate was a mining engineer, and after the war he was doing mining exploration up in northern Quebec, north of Arvida, and all the material had to be flown in, which was very expensive. And to fly a canoe in on a plane, they charged 500 pounds, as though it were a 500-pound weight.
Because it was up on tight underneath on top of the pond.
It was tied on the float.
Yeah.
And that made too much drag.
And these were little beavers they used to fly?
These were beavers then. No, they were Norsemen. They were Norsemen.
Okay.
Well, so what Alec did, he had the canoe cut in half, and bulkheads put in to the two halves, and then bolted the two halves together, so he could take the two halves apart, and one was made a little bigger than the other, so the smaller one could sit into the half of the bigger one, and it went in the plane then instead of on the float, and we're only charged 100 pounds instead of...
Or whatever it weighed, eh?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why it has the bulkhead welded in. And then when you got to the lake you wanted to work, you just take it out and bolt it together again with I think there were rubber washers between them, and it was waterproof.
And did you have gunnels that...
Oh, the gunnels, yeah, the gunnels were
separate,
bolted on.
Were bolted on?
So they would partly come off, and
so this canoe was used in northern Quebec, north of Chicoutimi, Arvida.
That's right.
Jonquière.
Around Lake Albonel and Lake Mississini.
Right?
Yep.
All sort of 100 miles, 200 miles north of
Arvida.
Arvida and Chicoutimi?
Yep.
Up into the Arctic Circle?
No.
Not that far?
No.
And you've had, I assume, lots of experiences with the canoe. You've run it onto rocks. Was it easy to repair?
You could if you had a tear in the thing, you could just take a camp axe and hammer it together again, because it was so soft. You could just hammer it together again and make it waterproof. You might throw a little bit of
Pine tar? Spruce?
Yeah.
Gum?
Usually you go to an evergreen, and go into some of these tarry buds on it and use that.
What's your most memorable experience in that canoe? Ever having any fun in it? Running rapids, catching fish,
Yeah, well,
shooting moose?
Alec and I took it one time and went from Lake St. John up the Ashbush one, through a number of lakes there, and ended up at Chicoutimi. And this was before the roads were into Chicoutimi. We wanted to find the old Indian Trail from Lake St. John to Albonel, and it hadn't been used for quite a number of years, so it was grown over. But we found the way through, and we got up to Chicoutimi for a short visit. But on the way down, we had to come down well, I forgot the name of the lake, but this was a very windy day, and we didn't realize until we got out on the lake how windy it was. The lake was a long lake, about 15 miles long, and we were halfway up it, and when we got out onto the water, the waves were so high we couldn't get turned around and get back, so we had to go down the lake with the wind, and neither one of us ever thought we'd make it in the canoe.
To shore?
No, the waves were rolling in about 5-6 feet high, and but that canoe floated down there, and episode in the canoe.
Now, Mr. Monovan, this was back in 40.
That would be in 1946.
46.
Yeah,
When you went with Alex on that canoe trip.
that's right.
And how old are you now, Mr. Monovan?
A little bit older.
So that would be how many years ago?
Well, I was
50 some years?
35.
You were 35 and you're
Yeah,
how old now? 97?
plus.
It's wonderful that your memory is that good, Mr. Monovan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's a neat story about
Yeah, that's
the Chicoutimi Aluminum Canoe Company.
yeah.
And it's a 16 foot, 18 foot?
It was a 16 foot.
Right.
When it was cut, it reduced it to about 15.8.
And one of the bulkheads at the front, that is the floating bulkhead or the floating piece at the front, it's welded in? It's airtight?
No, it's put in with bolts. It's bolts or rivets, I've forgotten which.
We're talking about the middle of the canoe.
Oh no,
I'm talking about the ends of the canoe that float
the ends of the canoe, the flotation there are two aluminum tanks, one in the bow, one in the stern.
Right.
And these will float the canoe if it's full of water.
Okay. And when the canoe, one section was put into the other section,
They came out.
Those floaters were taken out, or one of them
That's
at
right.
least was taken out?
One of them would be taken out.
So one of those would be taken out, the gunnels would be taken off,
Yeah.
the wing nuts and bolts on the middle would be disconnected, put in a bag, then one section went into the other section, went into the airplane.
That's right.
Damn ingenious. Did you ever get a patent on this idea?
Oh no.
But a really smart way of saving costs and saving
Yes.
expense.
Yeah. That was a very interesting time. Alec was flying in, and he had a group of Indians working with him on surveys and searches, and he had, I think, something like 12 canvas-covered canoes at the camp. They built a log cabin, and there was a canoe rack on the side that held 12 canoes. And when he closed up the operation, it was not feasible to bring those canoes out. They had to be flown out. And so we walked away from the cabin with 12 canvas-covered canoes sitting on the racks outside, and anyone that wanted them would go and take them.
Oh, wow.
And this aluminum canoe is the only one that we brought out because it could be put in the body of the plane.
So did Alex ever find any large mineral deposits up there?
Oh yes.
Did he find gold and silver
No,
and bronze?
he was not looking. He was looking for. There's the. He was looking for mineralization, and I think you're going to find there's a lot of noise from the car on this thing. But he was looking for mineralization, and he did find some very large deposits of zinc and iron. And it was very interesting in this trip that we made together. We were coming home. We came down through this little stream joining two lakes, and at the mouth of the river, we stopped. It was a hot day, and said the lovely sand beach. We said, let's stop and have a swim. So we stopped and had a swim, and some years afterwards, Alex sent me a copy of a magazine where they had discovered gold on the side of that little river, and they were operating a mine there for gold, and we had come down past it.
You've come in and swum right over it, then.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, shut it off.
We are. Hey, Jason, wave. Hi. You're on camera.
Kids are so natural. We'll just put it in the area where we stand, right?
In warm spots.
So it's electrical radiant.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Theirs is
That's
electrical radio.
expensive.
Okay.
Alright.
And
You don't do
so,
that for
and
big
you know what? Tiles
Yeah.
are so cold.
Yeah.
They are so
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah,
The other thing that with their house is it's I don't know if is it what you call a back split where you come in on
Yes.
the ground this way, but then
Bill, can I get you some more? Do you want
the
to?
basement
thank
goes
you.
out.
Okay.
No, I'm fine.
I'm still working on
You're
one.
working on it. Just give me a little bit more. I was talking.
The basement on the lake side
I may have to drive
goes
home.
out,
That's right.
okay?
Yeah, that's right.
And that basement is always freezing. I say to them, how do you live here? I couldn't live there. Now, not upstairs.
Oh,
Upstairs is always
yeah.
wonderful. But their so-called basement, which is not a basement because
It's a back split,
it's
yeah.
backsplit. So it's on,
Okay.
like it's their basement is above ground at the
It's
back.
still cold.
Oh. There's
Our
two
basement's
bedrooms
warm
down
because of
there.
that bloody
There's
boiler.
2 bedrooms and a family room and a fireplace and another room. But you can feel it as you go down the stairs
In when
Well,
winter
then
or
the
in the winter and in the summer.
Alright, what is supposed
there's quite a few escaped cats in these large cats in England, like panthers and things, which is sort of
legendary creatures?
because they brought in what happened was in about 1988 they brought in a dangerous wildlife act in Britain, which basically made it illegal to own any of these exotic pets.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you had a huge amount of, you had to
Don't
have
we
these
have one of those
specified kind of
Here? Don't we
Mhm.
have one of
grounds,
those?
which no one could afford these animals. But now
Well,
pulled
they-
down.
Maybe we would survive the winter here,
Couldn't
would
get
they?
them they wouldn't survive the winter here, but there are a few in temperate regions of England. So there's a place called Bodmin. Tiger escaped, got out of its enclosure, jumped out, it killed one of them, and then he was in the middle of mauling another one near the cafeteria when the police.
Funny how they all kind of hit
The
these
hell
different
is she?
stages. Like she's at the,
Oh, where she is.
she just passed the raspberry stage where one all the time they sort of discover that
Oh, yeah,
they
yeah.
do that and they start to
Oh,
do
there she is.
What's she doing? She's doing a new noise now. Humming. She does these humming noises and stuff.
Are you on candid camera? Are you on candid camera?
You're right, Graham, that's interesting, because you know what, there's no flash with this. It has to be taking
Oh,
with just ambient light, right?
very good.
Did you
So
see Randy?
ours at this light would be good. Not sensitive enough, you know, the LED thing, whatever it is.
She's never seen a dog
I
before.
bet. The light absorbing bit isn't very sensitive. In
I
the
just
old
think she's
one.
never seen a dog before, has she?
Probably not.
Probably
Well,
not.
she wouldn't have known the dogs when we were there a couple months ago.
I know, but I don't think she's even seen. Maybe at the park. At the park, she must have seen dogs at the park. I just remember the reaction Alex had
Yeah.
the first time he saw.
We're laughing.
Oh, the first time he
Can
laughed
you,
when he saw a dog by his tail.
bring that in on magnification?
Sure, how magnified do you want
She
it?
did his tail.
Well, I just wonder, just to try it.
We just did it.
Oh, they're cool.
Is it?
Oh,
I had it so magnified I couldn't find her. And
Oh, I see.
undone it, and then
Okay,
I zoomed in on Lynn, and then I've opened it up so that
okay,
Mum and Lim are both in the picture.
okay.
Oh, goodness gracious me.
And there's that little green thing, we don't know why that's flashing. No,
Those are warm
it'll
red
be
hair.
recorded under, this picture is being taken under Sports 1.
Joking, really?
Oh, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, we record this, but we can't.
Why?
I don't know, not working.
Oh, I know.
Oh, your puppy dog. Look at him. He's going. Right? I wasn't expecting to.
Domestic. One wants to be really, yeah.
It's gonna go on
Like, well, but when he wants to make it come out. What are you doing
Oh,
there,
have
Mommy?
a half a cup of tea.
Okay, well, these are kind of huge, so I'll just do.
Yeah. Well, Dad is strong.
Oh, she's probably getting hungry.
Oh,
She's just getting hungry, I think. She's just getting hungry. I shouldn't put her curl up, Peter. Do you want some tea as well, Peter?
Thank you, no.
No, you're good?
Tea makes me pee.
May I have